Hi, it's Talsvids. This video is going to be about the new features in the Notes app in iOS 9.3. There's been a few changes to the Notes app in iOS 9.3. Mostly, the biggest one is the ability to protect your notes by way of either a password or Touch ID. Before we can enable Touch ID or password protect our notes, we need to first go into settings, and once we're in the settings, if we go down a little bit, we'll see notes. So far down we can see password, so if we touch that, I've already switched mine on, but you basically would need to switch on Touch ID, and this will then allow you to view your notes and that, well, password or Touch ID protect your notes. And where it says change password as well, you may be prompted to enter a password as well. That's just in case Touch ID didn't work for whatever reason. It needs a password to fall back on. It's basically like how Touch ID works on your iPhone to unlock it. When it's locked, you need a password as well as Touch ID. So once we've enabled them two things, we're good to go with being able to password protect our notes or Touch ID protect our notes. Now, while we're in the settings section for notes, we can also now sort notes by either date edited, which is basically the date of the last time that you edited that note. We can sort notes by the date that they were created, so basically your newest notes would be at the top of your Notes app and the oldest ones would be further down. And the last option is title. Now obviously it'll list from A to Z, A being at the top in the Notes app, the title of your note. So you can have a play around with these and sort by whatever way you find easiest for yourself. So once we've enabled them things that I've just showed, so if we now go into the Notes app, I've got a couple of test notes already stored in here for the purposes of this video. So now that we're in Notes, we can see now that I've got a couple of test notes already stored in here. Now, one criticism I have got about the password protecting your notes is it isn't clearly obvious how you go about password protecting your notes. I think Apple could have put some sort of little icon along the bottom next to where you've got the ability to create a new note or view attachments, which you can see there. New attachments is on the left at the bottom and new notes is on the right. I think they could have had some sort of little padlock that you could have touched on to enable the feature. What we've basically got to do is we've got to go into the note first of all, and then at the top right of the screen we can see a little square with an arrow pointing out to the top of it. So if I touch that now, this thing brings up this little dialog window, and one of the options we can see towards the bottom pane of the dialog is lock note. So if we touch that now, it's just bringing up this Touch ID for notes and it's telling us use your fingerprint or enter your password to lock the note. So as I've got Touch ID, I'll just use Touch ID, and now that note is enabled so that we can lock it. Now we can also see at the top of the screen we can see a little padlock symbol, and it's currently in its unlocked state. So if you touch that little icon, that note is now locked, and if we want to view that note we've got to touch the view note text, and then that will bring up either to enter a password or Touch ID if you've got Touch ID on your iPhone, and then you can view that note. So you've just got to remember as well, when you've viewed the note, to touch the padlock symbol again to lock it. And we can see here that the top note that we've just been working on, we can see there now that it's shown locked, and we can see a little padlock symbol as well on the right hand side to show that it's locked. Now if we want to protect the next note, which I've called note 1, we've got to go into it again, touch the little square with the arrow pointing out at the top, lock note again, use Touch ID, and that's now ready to lock. So if we touch the padlock again, that second note is now locked. So as we can see now, both of them notes are locked, and you would just basically have to go through the same procedure to lock all the others. Like I said before, I think Apple could have implemented it a bit better than they have. You know, if you've got quite a few notes in here, having to go into each one and do this procedure to lock them, I think it's going to be a bit longer and a bit more complicated than it really should have needed to be. I think it would have been better if you could have chosen the little notes, the little tick box next to the notes, and then touch, say, a padlock symbol that would have been at the bottom, and it would have protected all your notes that you'd highlighted there. But that might come in iOS 9.4, but you never know. So if we want to view one of our notes again, you just touch that, and that will just bring up that one and that the note is locked. And to view it, you've got to touch on the view note text, and then you can either enter your password if your iPhone hasn't got Touch ID, or if it's got Touch ID, you can just place your thumb on the Touch ID button, and it'll unlock it. You've got to make sure as well that you touch on the little padlock again. If you forget, like what I've done there now, that note will be unlocked, as you can see by that symbol at the top, towards the top right of the screen. And you can also see the same symbol as well on the right hand side of that particular note. Now, both of them notes that we've got on the screen now, we can see that they're both unlocked. Now if you want to lock them both, we can see right at the very bottom of the screen where it's got lock now. So if I touch that, that'll lock them two notes. Well, I think that about covers everything for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and also if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll receive an email when I upload any new videos. Well, thanks for watching. Goodbye.